This week on The Gadget Show, we're boldly going where we've never dared go before.
Wow, look at all this stuff.
Yes, in a moment of madness, the show's producers have challenged us to shoot the show ourselves.
Gadget Show, take one.
It's a full-on Gadget Show takeover. Armed with the latest consumer video tech, can we deliver a show that's entertaining, surprising, and not too wobbly? All we know for sure is that anything could happen in the next 60 minutes.
I love it.
But that's not all. Also in this show, John casts a critical eye over no-name brand TVs.
Otis takes the very latest high-tech satnavs for a spin.
Let's get going.
And Pollyanna sorts the twits from the tweeters and reveals who to follow on Twitter.
I'm having that one.
Gadget Show, take one. Hello and welcome to The Gadget Show.
Yeah, and possibly the most unpredictable and potentially dangerous episode we've ever recorded. Why? Because we're doing it ourselves.
Yes, and if you don't believe us, watch this. John, just come into shot a little bit. John's shooting Jason. Steady with the shot.
Oh, yes, and that camera over there is getting the wide shot.
Yeah, and this tiny camera is responsible for extreme close-ups.
You see, the thing was, we wanted to answer the question, are video cameras and home editing software so good these days that you can actually make your own TV show?
Using consumer tech, the kind of cameras and filming equipment that you can go down most high streets nowadays and purchase yourselves. And by virtue of the fact that you're watching it right now, I guess that means that we made it to the edit stage and somehow put the thing together.
Yeah, well, we don't know that, though, do we? Because we've literally only just started to film.
No idea at all.
And what happens if we don't actually make it to the end?
We've got to make it to the end.
It to the finish.
That's the big finale. Loads and loads of people, loads of cameras and no budget to speak of.
Yeah, why haven't we got a budget?
Oh, that's easy. Exhibit A. There you go. It's because we've already spent it on speedboats, helicopters, foreign trips and tanks, like you do.
OK, so I get the picture. Well, budget or no budget, our challenge started right here in this very studio 1 week ago. Morning!
Morning, guys!
When we came into the studio, we immediately knew something was up.
Crew.
No crew, ladder in
Boxes?
the middle, boxes.
Nothing was ready for filming.
Hello!
What's going on?
No cameras, no lights, just one heck of a mess. Then we discovered one of our most difficult challenges so far.
Right.
Yes. Go on then, press it.
Okay.
Dear Suzi, Jason and John, we've set you a unique DIY challenge. We want you and only you to produce all the studio links for next week's Gadget Show.
Using
only consumer tech, you have to film all the footage and then edit it for broadcast.
And then you've got to record your very own blockbusting finale.
Good luck. You might need it. Might need it. Definitely need it.
We wanted to make our studio links as good as the ones shot by our professional film crew. And there's a huge wave of people who successfully make their own programmes for the web. So we decided to track them down and see how they do it.
My research led me to some dudes who'd set up a website dedicated to people who film skateboarding.
I'm really excited to meet you boys. I've been checking out your website. It rocks.
Summerskateboarding.com is all about the army of unsung filmmakers in the sport. The website showcases their movies, giving them the exposure they deserve.
How are these directors shooting this stuff? What sort of technology are they using?
People are using all sorts. I see people also using their iPhones or the iPod Touches and also high-end Canon cameras as well. Anything to get a hand on.
It depends on their budget, but anyone can put a skate vid together. If they take the time to do it properly, you can use really entry-level stuff and it'll be watchable.
So, I'd learned that consumer tech can be cheap and easy to use. And now the quality of the footage is good enough to broadcast. So long as the content is great. Now I wanted to make a film for the website, so I grabbed some cameras.
I've asked the guys what they've got, and this is what I've come up with. It's absolutely phenomenal.
While Jason prepared to film, I wanted to discover the secrets of someone else who'd mastered the art of DIY TV.
Lauren, this is an amazing story. Hello.
3 years ago, Lauren Luke started selling makeup on eBay from her Newcastle home. But she had a USP. Using the simplest of cameras, she filmed videos in her bedroom, like this one, demonstrating how to apply the makeup.
I'm just going to gently lift the eye.
She then put them on the web and quickly became an internet superstar.
The amount of hits you've had has just been phenomenal. I bet you can't believe it, can you?
No, I don't think it. I think by the end of this year, it's going to be 100 million views.
Come on, let's put some makeup on.
Lauren's made over 1,000 video casts. She now uses a Panasonic HTC HS100 with an internal memory which holds over 7 hours of HD footage. And her latest film was going to feature me. Any excuse for a free makeover? The home movies were just the start of her amazing success. In just 3 years, Lauren's launched her own makeup range, a Nintendo game, she's published books, and there's an iPhone app in the pipeline. For Lauren, the tech was absolutely vital. Without it, she wouldn't be world famous. But the equipment she uses doesn't just produce great quality pictures, it's also really easy to use.
So if I can do it, anybody can.
So you think the content far outweighs what you spend on technology?
I don't even know what half the buttons are. I just switch on film and off I go, record. I make sure it's red though. The amount of stuff I've filmed, well, I thought I was filming and I hadn't.
It's never been easier to record video, and it's never been easier to broadcast it to the world. That is, of course, thanks to the internet and to channels like YouTube, where most homemade video is posted for anyone to see. And the figures are quite breathtaking. Every minute, 24 hours worth of video is uploaded to YouTube. And 2 billion videos are watched every day. That's really a remarkable figure, especially as YouTube is really quite a new phenomenon. It's only been around for just over 5 years. Now, there are plenty of other websites who are also providing space for amateur movie makers. You can go to VideoJug for DIY movies, giving advice on just about anything. How about this? How to get a girlfriend if you're a hopeless nerd. And finally, from this extremely small selection, there's Expo TV, where people post video reviews of something they've bought. It's marvellous what a wide range of things you can get video reviews on. I mean, there's 122 video reviews on shavers.
What you use this for is to shave your face.
Gosh, that's informative.
Back at the skate park, I was trying out the tips that I'd learned using improvised lighting and an ancient Samsung I'd blagged off a skateboarder.
Look at my kit. This is like a completely different way of looking. It looks like nothing I've ever shot before. I love it.
And my footage looked pretty cool on the summerskateboarding.com website.
We'd all learned some excellent lessons, and I'd taken part in Lauren's webcast.
But our research was just the start. Dozens of people usually produce the Gadget Show. Now we had to make it all by ourselves. It was a massive challenge, and it was about to begin.
And action.
Lauren Luke, what an amazing story that
Wasn't
is.
she?
Yeah, because she used to be a taxi secretary, taught herself to do makeup, spent a few £100s, internet guru. Isn't it an amazing story, John?
It is. It's become a given that you actually make videos on it and share them. It's where lots of those 2 billion a day streams on YouTube come from.
It's astonishing, and the way that they're filming it, that's what I find amazing. And, you know, these guys opened me up to the fact that when I came back to the studio, I needed to film you guys, not on a camcorder, but on a phone, because it's just as valid.
It's about the content, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Right.
Welcome back to the Gadget Show, where we, the presenters, are shooting the show ourselves using the very best consumer tech that we could get our hands on. However, this actually isn't my link at all. So would you mind if I left you to it, John Bentley?
Not at all, Susie.
Thank you.
Now, I want to talk to you about no-name brand tech. Brands like Luxor, Minerva and Emotion are about as familiar to most consumers as secret government missile projects. Yet they account for a substantial proportion of the TVs sold through independent retailers and supermarkets. Most of us simply ignore them. But is that fair? Many of these TVs seem competitively priced and come with many of the features you get with the well-known brands. So, are they the Cinderellas of the gadget world? It was time for some testing. I'm on the hunt to find the best non-big name TVs that'll offer real value for money, so I'm going to shop around. And one place you're likely to find unbranded TVs is your local supermarket. Whether your budget is large or small, a TV plays an important part in your life, so one important thing to consider is ease of use. Obviously, you should examine the TVs on the shelf, but insist on looking at the remote as well. It's also important to check that the TVs will connect to all the things you want them to, your Blu-ray and DVD and games console, for instance. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, you should be thinking about picture quality, and be sure you make time for this. Check out the viewing angles too. You don't always sit right in front of your living room TV. So, after a hard morning, following my own advice, I'd picked up 3 32-inch TVs, a decent size for most living rooms, and all at a price that wouldn't break the bank. First up was a Technica from Tesco, the most expensive of our 3 sets. With a fairly generous 3 HDMI sockets for high-definition viewing and Freeview HD included, it looked promising, even if it did only have 720p resolution, not full HD. I also picked up an eMotion from Sainsbury's. It's HD ready and comes with standard Freeview, as well as 2 HDMI sockets and USB playback for watching movies off your memory stick. And finally, I came away with an Evotel from Argos. With 3 HDMI inputs and USB record and pause capabilities, it offers full 1080p HD and a standard Freeview tune-up. To help me scrutinise our sets, I'd called on 2 of the country's top technological minds, former editor of Stuff magazine, Tom Dunmore, and former editor of T3 magazine, Michael Brook. First, I wanted to see how easy the TVs were to set up, so I assigned 1 each and started a race. 3, 2, 1, go! Tom and I didn't have too many problems, but poor old Mike seemed to be struggling with the emotion.
In your own time, Mikey.
It had us all stumped for a while, until Tom's eureka moment.
Schoolboy error, on switch.
Certainly the emotion was a little bit more difficult to set up, but not much to choose between the Evotel and the Technica. But how would our TVs fare when it actually came to watching something on them? I'd chosen a Blu-ray of G.I. Joe, The Rise of Cobra, but would our non-big name TVs do it justice? First up was the Technica, and despite what we felt was an odd choice of font, the menu was straightforward enough, and the remote was simple and comfortable to hold. So what are your first impressions, Tom?
In terms of specs, I think it's pretty good. You've got Freeview HD in there, which is great.
I mean, this is a very detailed picture, though, actually.
It looks pretty good. When things are moving quickly, you see a little bit of blur going on. I mean, it's certainly that area where if you pay a lot more for your TV, you'll get that image processing that makes all that action just look that much crisper.
Yeah, certainly.
But we weren't so impressed with the sound quality.
So the sound is very, very trebly. It's kind of quite irritating at high volumes.
So, a good picture, albeit with a less than perfect sound. A promising start, though. Next up was the eMotion. A clear, modern menu and a straightforward enough remote meant we were in business quickly enough.
So, Mike, what's your first impressions of the eMotion? Sound-wise, still not amazing, but not bad.
The sound isn't as ear-splitting, though. It's not. You're not cringing when you hear it, and I think that makes quite a big difference. But the motion is, I do think, is pretty poor on this.
Tom had a point. The picture was somewhat juddery at times, and that's something worth bearing in mind when buying a lower-priced TV. It might come with less sophisticated image processing. Overall, though, the emotion was decent enough, but because of its superior picture quality, the Technica was still out in front. Would our final TV, the Evotel, push it for the top place, though? It had the same menu graphics as the eMotion, so that was okay, but the remote was so full of buttons we simply didn't know where to start.
This is exactly what I hate. There's no kind of intuitive thing to it.
But would all be forgiven with the Evotel's full HD 1080p picture?
I'm not sure that there's much difference at all between this and the 720p models we've seen.
In fact, the picture was surprisingly poor, with blacks in particular proving a real effort. Unfortunately, the sound wasn't up to much either.
I don't know about you, but that's not very loud, is it?
The sound was all right, but I'm not convinced by it at all.
Because it's not loud enough, and the picture has some very disturbing qualities. So, the Evotel couldn't match either the Technica or the eMotion. In fact, it was the weakest of our 3 TVs. And with that in mind, it's G ratings time. The Evotel was bottom of the pile with just 1 G. Quite simply, the picture was off and the sound was barely there. The eMotion came second with 2 Gs. A pretty decent picture and quite a user-friendly menu. And once we discovered the on-off switch, we decided it was a good feature in these eco-conscious times. And top of the pile with 3 Gs was the Technica. It was the most expensive of our TVs, but it did deliver the best picture, even if it was only 720p. It also had a nice, simple-to-use remote and sound quality that, whilst a bit thin at high volumes, did a decent enough job. All in all, a reasonable buy. And if you want to learn more about all our Gadget Show recommendations, head over to our website at 5.tv/Gadget Show, where you'll find news and reviews of all the latest tech on the market, including what I thought about Apple's latest 11-inch MacBook Air. Get clicking to find out.
Now, I want to talk to you about satnavs. In recent years, it's fair to say they've become as ubiquitous as the iPod and have consigned the A to Z permanently to the glove box of your car and, dare I say it, threatened the knowledge of taxi cab drivers up and down the country. And now, facing stiff and cheap competition from GPS-enabled smartphones, the manufacturers of satnavs have really had to up their game. These little magic boxes are now sexier and more high-tech than ever before. And this is our top 5. To make a satnav really stand out from the crowd, it needs something extra special. So I've chosen models with highly desirable features in choosing my top 5. At number 5, it's the Co-Pilot app for smartphones, which lets you locate where your friends are and navigates you to them. It's like satnav and social networking got together for a mashup. Providing your friend also has the Co-Pilot app on their mobile device, you simply enter their details and the app's live services will locate them. That's where he is. Let's get going. The app then works as a conventional satnav on your phone, guiding you to where your friend is. Ah, look, there he is. Hey! At number 4, it's the Vexia EcoNav 480, which lets you maximise your vehicle's performance. Eco doesn't only mean saving the planet. The makers of this satnav say it could also save you £400 a year in petrol costs. The device comes with 11,000 vehicle models stored in its memory. Program in your make, model and year of registration and it'll give you instructions specific to your car. While you're driving, the satnav will not only tell you the most economical route to where you're going, but also advise you on how you're driving, letting you know if you're braking too suddenly or in the wrong gear at the wrong time. 3. It does this by monitoring your speed using the GPS, so you should always be driving at optimum fuel efficiency. The EcoNav will also let you know if you're speeding, what your fine's likely to be, and how many points you'll get on your licence. Not something a conscientious driver like me has to worry about. At number 3, it's the Garmin 1490 TV. This comes with a built-in Freeview receiver that can pick up 50 TV stations and 24 radio stations in the UK. The problem with portable TVs is they're often let down by signal strength. To improve this, Garmin have included 2 aerials that you fit to your windscreen perpendicular to each other. The 5-inch 480 by 272 pixel screen gives a good clear image and the stereo speakers are decent for a device this size. It's got a very simple interface. I scroll through the list of channels available and then select the one I want. 5. Now, you shouldn't be driving at all while watching TV, as it's clearly dangerous and the police would certainly book you for driving without due care and attention. So the Garmin cuts the TV function if it detects the car moving over 12 miles per hour. At number 2, it's the Mio Move Spirit V505. The Mio has a really cool function that allows you to navigate using pictures, which is really handy, especially if you don't have a postcode. This works using geotagged digital photos, which enables their location to be found on Google Maps. I've transferred a picture of Parrot's Folly into the satnav. Let's see how it does. Parrot's Folly influenced The Two Towers, the second book in Tolkien's Lord of the Rings trilogy. Here we go. If any of you were wondering what the additional applications were for geotagging your pictures, it's this, absolutely perfect for this satnav.
Keep right, then turn right.
Hey, look at that. It's led me right to the doorstep. Hello? Hobbits? In at number 1, it's TomTom's Go 1000 Live with Google. Now, the great thing about this satnav is it uses the Google search engine to find your locations, so you're always up to date. Type in keywords like a normal internet search and using its 3G connectivity along with your GPS location, it'll find what's in the area, even the local cafe. And I can search for whatever takes my fancy. I'm not restricted to the usual points of interest that most other satnavs come loaded with. It also links to your phone's address book so you can get directions using one-touch navigation. It's simple, easy to use, and perhaps most importantly, never out of date.
Now, if you've been watching the Gadget Show faithfully over the last few weeks, you'll already know the exciting news that the dates for next year's Gadget Show live exhibition have been announced. After the sellout success of last year's show, we've added an extra day this year, and the show will open to the public for 5 full days from the 13th to the 17th of April at the NEC in Birmingham. For more information and to buy tickets before we sell out again, go to our website at 5.tv/Gadget Show. It's going to be our biggest show yet, featuring an incredible new 3D experience and a new hall dedicated entirely to gaming. And on top of that, you can come and see us lot perform a very special live version of The Gadget Show in our 5,000-seat Super Theatre. See you there.
Welcome back. You are watching The Gadget Show and you've joined us right in the middle of a very important takeover challenge.
Looks to camera. She does as well. And I zoomed right in at the exact point. I love this. This is so much fun. Isn't it incredible that DIY TV is now possible? This kind of technology, which in itself, in this tiny little form factor, can do full HD, now means that we can make our own TV show. It's incredible.
Superb. And we have filmed all of our studio links on consumer video cameras. If you don't believe me, I'm going to give you a little tour of the studio. So over here, we'd normally have the director looking at a couple of monitors, but there's nothing, just a camera. And then we'd have a cameraman, and we'd have a sound man, and maybe another cameraman. But look, there's no one. Is that a decent shot, John?
Beautiful, Susie.
This is the very definition of DIY. We're even going to edit today's episode of The Gadget Show on home editing software on laptops and desktop computers. But you probably want to know why we've chosen the things that we've chosen, why this particular camera, for example, and how am I able to get this luscious extreme close-up.
So this bit of the show explains how we took on the challenge of filming all the links, all by ourselves. We'd already learned that today's army of DIY filmmakers use whatever kit they can get their hands on.
But we wanted a planned approach. It was vital we chose the right tech to make our links look great.
Wow, look at all this stuff.
Our first task was absolutely crucial. We wanted top broadcast quality pictures from consumer cameras. If we chose the wrong ones, our challenge would be a disaster right from the start.
Oh,
say cheese.
In the end, John decided the latest Panasonic HDC TM700 had amazing picture quality and was the easiest to use, so that was our main camera.
I think this camera will be perfect for shooting in the studio. It's even got manual focus, so if I find the autofocus is hunting, I can switch to manual and focus with this ring, just like on a professional camera.
We chose our second camera because it's a world first. The Samsung HMX S14 is the only camcorder so far that can send its footage via Wi-Fi.
OK, guys, are you ready? I want to demonstrate this streaming because it is so impressive.
if it actually works, it will be.
It does work.
I want to know how fast it is.
You're about to find out. I just recorded a clip.
Yeah.
You hold the phone there, John.
OK.
Now, I press the Wi-Fi button onto the Wi-Fi router. Yeah, if I grab the phone itself...
The footage can be sent via Wi-Fi to a PC, a TV, or even a phone. My 5 seconds of footage took 50 seconds to transfer, and we were very impressed.
I want to know how fast it is.
Good test.
And the picture was great too, so we used the Samsung for the studio wide shot.
Our third camera of choice was the Sanyo Exacti VPC SH1. Versatile, light, and perfect for those handheld shots.
And I kept my iPhone 4 on hand just in case.
So we'd chosen the cameras and we were ready.
Action! Hello and welcome to The Gadget Show.
And with the opening link in the can, that's the one you saw at the very start of the show, we decided it was time to be adventurous.
But don't you think just holding a camcorder in your hand is a bit boring?
Yeah, we need to make our links really sassy and really sexy.
So let's see what some of these toys actually do.
I used this mini jib for Polly's next link.
Now, love it or loathe it, Twitter is a phenomenon.
The Hague K1 handy jib can be used handheld or pivoting on a tripod. It creates a very professional camera move, as you'll see in a few minutes. But this was my favourite. It's a battery-driven powerhead remote controlled via a cable link. The PH powerhead fits onto most tripods and rotates and tilts the camera. So, when I went solo and recorded this link...
Now, I want to talk to you about no-name brand tech.
I could move the camera, speed things up in the edit...
But is that fair?
And create moves that the usual Gadget Show directors would be really proud of.
So we'd raced through 3 links, and we were now so confident that we decided to be even more ambitious. But would we pull it off?
Our next little toy is this mini table dolly, which we used for Otis's link just before the break into his top 5 satnavs. Cool, eh?
And this is how it enhanced the link.
And have consigned the A to Z permanently to the glove box.
The MTD Mini Dolly can be adapted to take a range of cameras, and the wheels are adjustable for a straight or curved movement.
Our final TV gadget is the Steadicam, which we used at the start of this part just a few minutes ago. The MMC Minicam stabilizer is suitable for lightweight camcorders and is used to even out the bumps when the cameraman's walking around.
So, all the links were in the can.
See you next time.
We've taken the first part of the challenge in our stride.
But of course, filming the links is really only part of the story.
Yeah, we've got to edit out all your fluffs first, haven't we?
Your fluffs?
You're the fluffer.
You fluff more than anybody I know.
Well, I'm going to leave those two bickering because somebody's got to decide what sort of editing software to use.
Who's that bloke?
We'd steamed through filming the links, but choosing our editing software was just as important if we wanted to produce a polished show.
So I'm looking at 3 leading entry-level editing software packages, all available at Christmas present prices. Well, if you're feeling generous.
Our first choice was Adobe Premiere Elements 9. It's the first Adobe system available for Macs as well as PCs. Vegas Movie Studio HD Platinum is Sony's entry-level editing software. And Final Cut Express 4 is the main competitor from Apple. You can download all 3 for a free 30-day trial.
They've all got very attractive interfaces and they're all pretty easy to use after you've had a bit of practice.
Although I have to admit I found the Adobe software the hardest to get to grips with. So, which one did we choose to edit the links we'd shot?
In the end, we plumped for Final Cut Express, a light version of the professional editing package that's used to make top TV programmes. It copes well with importing multiple formats.
And it has the interface that I found the most intuitive.
And the combination of the two meant we were confident we'd achieve a professional look.
So we triumphantly stormed through the first 2 parts of our challenge. We'd filmed and edited all the studio links. But our toughest task still lay ahead. Now we had to create a huge finale, and to film it, we'd need an army of helpers. Otherwise, our challenge would fail at the last hurdle.
Love it or loathe it, Twitter is a phenomenon. It's a window into a world of breaking news, fierce public debate, and what Lady Gaga is having for breakfast. But what you get out of Twitter purely depends on whom you follow. Follow the right people, and it could be a lot more useful than you think. In just a few years, Twitter has gone global and now has 150 million tweeters worldwide. But which of them should you really follow? Well, here's the Gadget Show's top 5 tweeters of the moment.
I've spent the last few days on Twitter and I found 5 tweeters for you to follow. Not only are they useful, but they're also entertaining.
At number 5 is Dr. Samuel Johnson, a mystery tweeter who writes in the style of the famous 18th century wit who wrote the first English dictionary. Of course, the musings of an 18th century man of words in the shorthand of Twitter can be a bit bizarre.
Dr. Samuel Johnson was a lover of the English language. Now, over 250 years after his death, he's tweeting his opinions on modern-day life as if he was still alive today.
But he's built up a massive following, and when asked about his thoughts on X Factor, his response was,
"I wager that Mr. Wagner shall be conquering lovelorn harridans at Mr. Butlin's encampment before the year is out."
At number 4 is voucher codes, a great way to save money on your tech.
Shopping for gadgets on the high street can be a very expensive experience.
But buying online is great for saving money, especially if you're following voucher codes on Twitter. Each tweet details special deals, discounts and promotions on a variety of items. Just click on the link and you're given a unique voucher code that will save you money. At number 3 is Food Pickle. Now you can get all the answers to your culinary catastrophes.
You can ask anything you like, really, about food and cooking.
Simply tweet your question.
How do you make broccoli and Stilton soup?
And a community of great cooks and food experts will be ready to feed you an answer. Once you've had a response, you can begin to cook up a culinary masterpiece. Food Pickle is brilliant, and with Twitter, it will add an extra bit of spice to your feed.
Now that is gorgeous.
At number 2 is The Gadget Show. Yes, you get to watch us every Monday night, and now you can follow us on Twitter.
The Gadget Show team are working on the new series, so they'll keep you up to date with everything you need to know about the show.
We'll tweet regular news, tech we're using, and when we're about to go on air.
So follow the Gadget Show on Twitter, send us a tweet right now and let us know what you think of our top 5 tweeters. Our #1 tweeter is NASA astronauts. Being in space is something that the majority of us will never ever experience. But if you want to get an idea of what it's like, you can follow NASA astronauts who are tweeting from space right now.
A team of NASA's astronauts tweet updates, news, and even send pics of their spacewalks from the International Space Station.
Familiar landmarks and spectacular land formations of planet Earth are visible from space, but it's the pictures that the astronauts are taking which are absolutely remarkable. They've tweeted erupting volcanoes, the northern lights, and freak weather patterns, which gives us a totally different perspective of the world around us.
Welcome back to our Gadget Show Takeover special, where we're going all out to prove that you could make your own TV show using just consumer tech, like we're doing now. For example, that's the wide shot there with nobody standing behind it. Then John's shooting Jason. I'm also shooting Jason on this little camera here. It's working well.
It's working. There is real jeopardy, though, isn't there? Because actually, there is no guarantee that we're going to put all this fine footage together and have a finished, polished show.
Yeah, OK, I know. We haven't finished yet, but we have got this far because, of course, our challenge was not only to shoot and edit the show, but also to come up with an epic finale.
Yeah, absolutely. And for that, we're going to need some serious muscle. Get extreme close-up on that.
I'm going to need an extreme close-up on that.
You need a macro lens for that one.
Put it away.
And that muscle was provided by an army of Gadget Show fans with their tech at the ready and a troupe of extremely flexible dancers. Our DIY grand finale would be like no other. We'd planned a breakdance stunt that would be filmed exclusively by amateurs, demonstrating just how easy it's become for anyone to shoot their own TV footage.
This is Cole from Circa Media, and he's been working with the girls from the Midlands Academy of Dance and Drama, who are all around me warming up very professionally. Interestingly, they're not the focus. The real focus of today is this lot, our DIY TV camera crew.
Hi, everyone. This is our big extravaganza. So we've asked lots of Gadget Show fans from everywhere to help us film what we're about to do. It's called crowdsourcing. So all these guys are going to use their cameras to film our event, then we're going to edit them together and hopefully get some really, really cool footage. I just hope we can do it. Ready, guys? Yeah! I think they are.
This programme's been all about how easy it is now to use amazing consumer tech to make your own TV shows. And that's exactly what the Gadget Show fans who answered our Twitter invitation were going to demonstrate. And the response was amazing. I couldn't wait to get my hands on all that tech the fans had brought along, starting with some cool top-end DSLRs.
12mm lens, so I'm getting almost 180-degree wide angle.
And what about you, dude?
I've got a Canon 7D with an LCD viewfinder on here.
Can I play? Look at that, dude! You got the gear!
Sony HX1, just bog standard bridge camera.
Sweet, man! All these little digital SLRs and these compacts that can do full HD, you would have thought it.
The tech was fabulous, but if we wanted to make a great video, we needed cameras from every single angle.
Can you go and do the low shot, starting from here? Get a nice shot down the line. Floyd, do you want to go up there on that balcony?
Meanwhile, I was going tech crazy. There was so much variety.
I've actually got one of these, dude. Nice little handy cam, little flip video, look. That's incredible. It's a lovely bit of kit. Dude, honestly, this is incredible. There was a day when it was amazing if you had a camera on your phone. And now these guys are shooting on kit that, in certain ways, is better than what I'm talking to you on right now. Am I right? Yeah.
Even the man from Nokia came down to show off their latest N8 touchscreen smartphone.
I love it! I'm salivating. Is that wrong?
As the time for the stunt approached, my preparations became more frantic.
Right, guys, you're going to spread yourselves along here. So you guys over there, so spread out a little bit so we get a different sort of shot. OK, you go on a tight shot. Wide shot, stay on the wide shot. So I think we're pretty much ready to go.
The waiting was over. The dancers were ready. It was time to press record.
Are you ready up there? Excellent. Are you ready up there? Good stuff. Over there. Down the end. Woohoo! Everybody ready? Action!
As the stunt started, our amateur video makers were really put on the spot. The success of the film was totally in the hands of these Gadget Show fans.
We had 40 cameras shooting every conceivable angle. Even I got in on the act using my mobile.
But would our crowdsourced footage really produce a blockbusting movie?
And cut! Well done! Great stuff! Fantastic! Well done, girls, brilliant! Hopefully we've got some amazing footage with all this camera. Big round of applause for yourself, though. Nice one, guys!
But there was no time to celebrate. 40 cameras meant 40 chunks of footage, and it all had to be collected to see if this crowdsourcing challenge could possibly work. And immediately, we hit problems.
This footage is all well and good, and I'm sure that some of it's going to be brilliant.
Yeah.
But if we don't collect it all together, it's going to be a nightmare.
Yeah, the whole thing will have been a pointless exercise. What if we got over 40 different types of device?
Imagine trying to do this a few years ago. It would have been impossible.
Absolutely impossible. We better stop chatting, don't we? And actually
Because it's going to take us a long time.
A lot of the footage needed to be converted so that I could use it with our Final Cut Express editing software. It took ages, but finally our crowdsourced stunt video was ready for its premiere.
Action!
And the technology had done its job. We captured a fantastic multitude of camera angles.
And John decided to include even the lowest quality footage because the whole idea was to involve as many cameras as possible.
So, with more than a little help, we triumphantly completed the final part of our DIY challenge.
So is that it? Have we done it?
Well, we'll never know, will we? I mean, it's a bit like Schrodinger's cat, isn't it? You know, are we dead or are we alive? You're talking about something that happened in the future, in the past tense. Huh? And if by talking about it, you know, are you in effect stopping it from ever happening?
I think I know what you mean. You mean the fact that we've shot the links in the studio, but we haven't actually done the editing yet. But listen to this. We have obviously done the editing because you're watching the show, which means that we have succeeded. Woohoo!
Brilliant.
Yes! See you next time.
Yeah, that's, of course, if they're actually there.
What do you mean?
See you last time.
See you soon. Meow.